Hi, my name is Travis Williams. I'm owner and lead counselor for True Impact Counseling Services. I wanted to talk to you today about a simple concept called self-talk. Wanted to kind of introduce the three types of self-talk I try to encourage my clients to identify. The reason that I'm going over this is that I do think self-talk is very important to recognize, and it's also a source of a lot of issues that we tend to have. So the more that we can be in tune with what our self-talk is like and be able to identify the types, the more we can check ourselves when we're in a place of negativity or when we're in a place of judgment about ourselves. So the three types of self-talk that I'll go over today is called the coach, the critic, and the champion. Let's start with the positive, the coach. The reason that I like to hear the coach come out is that the coach type of self-talk is a self-talk that lets you know that you are following your plan, that you are being strategic, that you are looking back on how you solved a problem before and pulling from that situation to your current circumstances to get over it. The coach is also that self-talk that will remind you of the interventions, the conversations you had with your therapist, reminding you of what worked and what did not work. It's also that self-talk that if you are a person of faith, is going to remind you about your word and those things that God has said about you. So the coach is exactly what that means. It's what's going to be coaching you through those difficult moments. It's going to be direct. It's going to be about solution. It's going to be about getting over some things, having an overcoming type attitude in that moment. But that is a very positive self-talk to hear. Second is the champion. And the reason that I came up with the champion is that there's a difference between a self-talk that's informing you about what moves you should be making, what kind of interventions you should be deploying in the situation, and that voice that says, good job, attaboy, way to go. The reason that hearing that champion or that advocate voice come out is that we don't give ourselves enough pats on the back. We'll talk about ourselves all day long. We do something wrong. When we have come up short, we'll judge, we'll get on ourselves, we'll just beat ourselves up to a pulp. Time out for all that. At the end of the day, if that is our default when we make a mistake and when we fall short, and mostly out of habit we do that, we need to be very attentive when we do something right and when we make those positive moves. And if we listen, we do tend to say, job well done. We just go by it so quickly that we really don't give it a lot of thought. But I want to encourage you, try to hear that champion come out, that voice that says, you know what, you done better at this. You overcome some things. A year ago, I would have raised my voice about X, and X happened, and I handled that well. My kids worked on my nerves. They done something that upset me, but I didn't go off. I asked them some questions. I used my techniques. We had a very productive conversation. Those are the moments where you need to champion what you've done. You need to congratulate yourself. You need to give yourself a moment to take in that. Not so you can brag and boast about it, so you know that you can overcome those issues. But sometimes we overcome things and we get past them so quickly, we don't even recognize when we handle that well. So I want you to hear that champion voice more often. So we talked about the coach, we talked about the champion, then finally we have the critic. The critic in us is easy. That's what we hear all the time. And if I can be frank, we hear way too much of the critic because we tend to default towards the negative, and that's just being real. Our critical voice is just what that means. It means that that's what comes up and criticizes us in moments where we've fallen short. And don't get me wrong, part of this is just human nature, but some of it is out of habit. So we tend to judge ourselves in those moments. We tend to get down about something we've done. And if we're not careful and learn to check that critical voice that can come up, we can begin to internalize a lot of those things that we say about ourselves in those moments. And that's where the damage is done with that critical self-talk. So we went over several things today. We talked about our self-talk. We talked about the 3 types of self-talk I encourage clients to identify. And these are going to be tips that's going to help you whether you're already in therapy or you're considering therapy. Again, some things I think are just helpful. And knowing your self-talk is going to be a very helpful skill to be able to identify whether or not you are encouraging yourself, whether or not you are coaching yourself through some situations, or maybe you're being way too critical. If you don't know what that voice sounds like and put a label to it, you might miss it, and I don't want you to do that. I hope that this little quick, impactful moment has been good for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me on my website, True Impact CS. You can also contact me by leaving a comment on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe because I'll be doing more videos. You can also send me a direct email through my email. That's trueimpactcs@gmail.com. God bless you. God keep you. I pray that His undeserved favor covers you till the next time we meet. Take care.